Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's me, Comic Crack. It's 9 p.m. here in friendly Manitoba. I wanted to talk about some books I got this weekend. But first, if you were looking for the hangout this Sunday on my channel or Ross's channel, we had it on Damien, Sleepy Reader's channel this week. Just bouncing back and forth between people and different people hosting. So make sure that you're sub to Sleepy Reader. And I'm assuming that the 10 of you that'll watch this video, you're absolutely sub to Sleepy Reader. But that's where we were there. So if you want to hear me talk about books in detail and Damien talk about books and Rasa talk about books for 2.5 hours or however long it was that we hung out, head over there to check that out. And then next week we'll be back on one of the other channels, either mine or Rasa. We haven't decided yet. But so this weekend was a weekend of trading some more stuff in. I also had sold a couple of things through Marketplace here on Facebook here in town as we kind of continue to clean out the kind of storage room that we have down here. Getting ready for spring to start cleaning out that garage and stuff. So went to visit a friend of mine, Dan, who has Mad Cat Comics here in Winnipeg at the Thirsties flea market. He had 5 for $1 bins out. He had 50-cent bins out. He had bins. The thing that I love about visiting Dan specifically is he's bought a lot of collections. He now has 2 small spaces at Thirsties. So he's been able to bring some more stuff out of storage and kind of have it out. And the boxes, I love digging through comics, as most of us do, digging through the bins. And he doesn't really separate out the bins too much. So you get a really nice mix. Nothing is alphabetized. It's just there. So you flip through. There's a couple of boxes that's stuff that's just unbagged. So, I mean, we're talking, thousands of books here, basically. So I had a quick dig. Me and my daughter went. I found some stuff from him because I always do. He had a couple of magazines as well for me. We'd been talking about some stuff online, looking into the Val Merrick stuff. There was some Conan that Val did that I saw. One that I saw on ETA Nick's channel, actually, he was talking about. And then he did a little bit of work for Creepy and Eerie. So I just hit up a couple of the local guys, and Dan came through with a couple of those magazines, which is sweet. So talking about Damien, one of the books that he had talked about on his videos was Rima, the Jungle Girl. I've managed to find 4 of them in like 3 different spots. We also went to Red River Bookshop here in town. My wife was hunting for some magazines. So we went in, and the first Saturday of every month, they have the upstairs open. So that was this past weekend, or that was yesterday, rather. So we spent a while in there, probably about an hour or so upstairs. And same thing there. He's just got bins filled with some great stuff. And a lot of the European stuff that I found over the years, there's a good chunk of it that's come from his place upstairs. So I did find a couple more things like that. And I also found one of these Rima, the Jungle Girl books there too. So I haven't started reading it yet. I'm missing issue 2. So I managed to find issue 1, and all of these were dirt cheap. It seems like, at least so far, you can find them reasonably priced. So Rima, the Jungle Girl, number 1. And I mean, again, if you've watched Damien's video, he's shown this book off, and it just looks gorgeous. In the back of this one, yes, there is. In the back of this one, we get a follow-up story as well, too, by Alex Nino, script by Jack Olick, and it's called Space Voyagers, 4 Tombs. So I think this backup story runs through all of the issues. And what is there, 7 or 8 Rimas? But that Alex Nino art is fantastic in here for sure. So that's exciting. I'm going to dig into these hopefully sooner than later. I want to have another look for number 2. I'll probably read this first one tonight, though. But I do want to find that second issue. And then number 3 with Joe Kubert art, and number 4 with Joe Kubert art as well. Love that cover. That's really, really great. And then number 5, again with Kubert art. And again in the back with the Alex Nino. Yeah, there you go. Hell of a style, man. Space Voyagers. Yeah, so it's still Space Voyagers. And there's a look at that there. It's funny when some of these guys not necessarily get on your radar, but it feels like you hear a name or you focus on a name and that person seems to pop up everywhere you go. And Nino is one of those guys for sure that's been popping up. In his cheap bins, he only had one, or at least I only saw, oh, Mr. DaCosta, how you doing? He only had one of these issues. It's not something that I find a lot in the dirt cheap bins, but I was missing issue number 4 of the Batman Adventures, so managed to grab myself a copy of that for, you know, a quarter. Beautiful. You know, there's no point in talking about it too much. You all know how much I love this book. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And who do we got here in this one? Written by Martin Pasco, penciled by Brad Rader, inked by Rick Burchett, of course. Yeah, really nice, man. Really nice stuff. I wish I would find more of these out there in the next to nothing bins, but it's just not the case. Not that they're really expensive or anything, but it's always sweeter when you can find them for dirt cheap. Today in the stream we were talking about Vertigo, and he had a couple of copies of this. I thinking back on it, it's one of those things that maybe I should have picked up whatever he had, grabbed all of them. Because this is kind of the sampler when Vertigo Comics was starting up. This is the kind of sneak preview, so it gives you a taste of all of the Vertigo comics, and then even a taste into some of the series like Shade the Changing Man that eventually adopted the Vertigo imprint on their covers, Swamp Thing as well. So this one you get a glimpse at Death, Enigma, Sandman Mystery Theater, Mercy, Kid Eternity, Sebastian O, Black Orchid, Shade the Changing Man, Swamp Thing, Animal Man, Doom Patrol, Hellblazer, and Sandman with a little brief write-up. And you get about a page to 2 pages of just a sample. So a look at the art and a little bit of sample of the story itself. Really great idea, especially giving you a little taste to kind of whet your appetite a little more. So I might end up going back. Pardon me. Oh, yeah, Mercy. Might end up going back. I have this Mercy one-shot, but I haven't read it yet. And J.M. DeMatteis is a guy that's really grown on me in the past year or so with his writing. He did the last one. He did Moonshadow and a couple of other books that I've really enjoyed. So I might have to go and pick up the rest of those just to have them. They'd be good to kind of send out to people. Another thing that they had that I figured, why the hell not? A Death Gallery. So the comic Death, and then this just has pinups, basically. People like Mike Allred, Clive Barker, Brian Bolland, Jeff Darrow. Holy shit, Jeff Darrow. Dave Gibbons. I haven't sat and actually looked through all of these yet. Michael Kaluta in this one. Dave McKean. Holy fuck. It's like P. Craig Russell, Jeff Smith, Brian Talbot, Charles Vess, Reed Waller, etc. Michael Zulli. Holy shit nuggets. So there's the list of names, and it's just pinup after pinup after pinup of Death. So that's great, and it's another one that I haven't seen before. Oh man, Gain Wilson. Look at this. That's pretty sweet, man. Wow, there's the Kaluta. Dude. Amazing, amazing. That's really great. I love this. What a fantastic idea. So this is 1994. So a year into Vertigo. Paul Chadwick, I think that says there at the bottom of this side. Yeah, it says Chadwick. Wow. Oh yeah, Jeff Smith. Holy shit. Jeff Smith and Brian Bolland. There you go. Nice. Wow, that's even better than I thought. I kind of just grabbed it, had a quick look, and just made a pile. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you're hitting these bins. These I grabbed from Red River Books yesterday. I'd heard about them. I think it was Rasa maybe telling me about them. I don't remember who exactly, but somebody was talking about Essential Vertigo Swamp Thing books and how there's 24 issues. They reprint a bunch of the stories, but they reprint them in black and white, but in floppy form. I don't know if they were ever collected, but I found 3 of them, and they're even better than I thought they would be. I thought I had one in the bins somewhere, but I can't find it. So this one is Alan Moore, Steve Bissett, John Toddleben, and this is the anatomy lesson. So, you know, we're talking the first Alan Moore scripted book here, and seeing that in black and white, it's just gorgeous, man. So I'm very excited about these. I really want to find the rest of these issues. So like I said, I believe there was 24 of them, and it came out in 97 or 96. Yeah, November 96 for this first issue. Yeah, really stunning work. So really nice to see. Not that there's anything wrong with the color. Don't get me wrong. The color is gorgeous in this series, but it's incredible to see in just the black and white. And then issue number 9, which is Love and Death. Stephen Bissett, John Toddleben again. Yeah, I had no idea either there, John, until Rasa told me, and I'm pretty sure it was Rasa told me about him. So, like, look at that shit. Hopefully it's the image is okay. I know that sometimes my feed is a bit choppy and the image doesn't necessarily come across. It looks sharp to me in looking at the screen here, but who knows? There you go. And then finally for this one, issue number 13, and this is Alan Moore and Sean McManus. Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad that it is. Hello, Scott Connor. Hello. And then this is the one where these kind of aliens land and interact with Swamp Thing. Pog. Like, look at all that foliage there. It's just gorgeous. What else do we got? I think there was a couple of stellar-ish images in this one too. Yeah, here we go. This one here. You know, ridiculous. So there you go. So that's Essential Vertigo Swamp Thing. Hunt that one down if you can find it. Something that I don't do very often, but I couldn't let these go. I had a look through the bins, hoping I could find the 4th issue. I only found 3 of them. Another Vertigo. So this is Neil Gaiman and Charles Vess's Stardust. The first 3 issues. I'd put them in a box just to kind of stand by while I looked through the rest of the bins in hopes that I would find the 4th issue buried somewhere else. I came back to them and I just couldn't let them go. It looks great. I don't know anything about it. You know, illustrated book, I guess. But I'm really intrigued by it because this art is really, really beautiful. Oh, wow. There's an Art of Stardust book due out later this year. Well, that's good to know. So book 1, book 2, and this is my favorite cover out of the 3, book 3 there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to digging into that one. So that's it for the DC and Vertigo. The rest of the stuff is kind of indies, and then there's a few magazines at the end. So one that I'd read the first 2 issues, Mr. DaCosta, who was with us today, turned us on to the first issue of this one. He posted some pages from it, so I dug them out of the box, and I could have sworn I had this 3rd issue too, but no matter how far and how deep into the collection I looked, I could not find it. So it popped up yesterday. The final issue of Bold Adventures Presents. This one is Spitfire. So from PC, there was only the 3 issues in it. But the story that's continued throughout, which I was loving the second, like the first issue was good, but the second issue was amazing, was this Time Force. So this 3rd issue, I'm hoping finalizes it. I'm hoping it's not one of those PC titles where they had planned to, dude. They had planned to go further and then they collapsed. Look at this shit. Look at that. So definitely thanks to John for putting this on my radar and getting me to dig back in the bins to look for the issues. Hello, Mr. G. How's it going, man? So yeah, that's the rest of that there. Yeah, and like I said, when I was looking it up on my CLZ app, I was sure that I had a couple of copies of this. I feel like this was one that I had bought in a couple of times accidentally, but couldn't find it. So I'm really, really happy that I finally found a copy of it. And then, like I said, there's a couple of other stories in here. John Severin art, written by Bill Dubay, colors by Tom Luth for the Spitfire tale here at the beginning. So that's that one. Caliber Press has been on my radar, and one of the ads in one of the books I was reading recently, maybe it was in I don't remember which book it was in, but anyway, they had this. There was one issue when I did some searching called "Crime," Startling Crime Illustrated, and I found it in the bins today. So I snatched that sucker out, rescued that sucker. Caliber is really on my radar. They had some Caliber Presents as well too. He had some in the bins, and I sort of wish I would have grabbed them, but when I flipped through them, like, they didn't look horrible. I left them, you know what I mean? So this one has a few stories. There's also a Startling Crime Facts. So the main, the only artist throughout it is Ken Holwczynski, HOLEWCZYNSKI. And his art has a little bit of a mystery kind of cleanliness to it, like that sort of clean line with not a ton of blacks. Photo cover on this one, photo cover. I mean, if it's art, it's fucking beautiful. But yeah, no, it looks photo to me. So just some short stories, some crime stories. I don't know if these were reprinted anywhere from anywhere else, or if they're updated stories, or what the deal is here. And then we get some text pieces as well too. So I'm always willing to try out some crime stuff. And like I said, Caliber seems to be working with me, or working for me rather lately. So that was a good one. I thought I picked up some more Caliber, but I guess not. No. Another one that caught my attention from Dark Horse, Scott Musgrove's Fat Dog Mendoza. I saw the cover and was intrigued right away, and then flipped it open, and again, it was another no-brainer. It just has a really great style, looks very bizarre, looks like that sort of 90s indie stuff that I love. Squad Patrol, a group of superheroes. And there's the there's the front and back cover there. Yeah, and that's as some of you well know, that's part of the fun of digging through these kind of bins. Just the absolute random shit that's going to pop up. So what do we got here? This is 1992 is when this one came out. I know absolutely nothing else about it. I haven't, like I said, I'm kind of looking through some of these in more detail for the first time myself. This is a book that pops up all the time. I see in the bins, but for some reason, it's always like a $2, $3, $4 book. So I never, ever have grabbed it. This was unfortunately the only issue he had, but these covers have always stood out to me. It's called Stark Future from Aircell. So this is book number 5. You know, that's a no-brainer. From the lettering to the characters to the background to what the hell is going on. This is 1986. So look at some of the interiors there. Looks intriguing for sure. But yeah, I don't know what the story is with this book. Like I said, when I see it, I don't see it in 50-cent bins, that's for sure. Hello, Damien, Sleepy Reader. How are you? I don't know if your name is coming up a different color for you. I had made the, I'm playing around with like moderators. I had made you a moderator, so maybe it hasn't triggered yet. I did it through YouTube, so I don't know if that kind of holds over to StreamYard, or I have to do something in StreamYard as well, just in case. So this, there's a Rak Graphics. Rak Graphics. This is 1986. There was a couple of these books. These are the only 2 from Rak Graphics that I saw in the bins, and they were just right beside. If you have a wrench, I think what you can do is, if there's someone that's misbehaving, you can throw somebody out. You can mute people just in case. I don't know. It feels like after I do these live videos, there's always a couple of posts that I have to delete afterwards, like comments. You know, it just feels like, you know, the trolling these days might be slowly climbing. So it's somebody to kind of keep an eye on things if I can't catch it. So this is Thunder Mace, issue number 1. And again, some of this, I don't even need to look inside some of these. Like when I flip through the bins and I see this cover, it just comes out of the box and gets put on the pile. There's not much thought that goes into it when I see something like this in like a 25-cent bin. So, you know, you can put people in timeout. Yeah, there you go. So just keep an eye on DaCosta. Put him in a timeout if he needs to. Like, look at that. Look at that. It's amazing stuff. Beautiful stuff. There's that. And then the other one from RAK is Buse and Gar. And again, why wouldn't you buy that comic? Why would you not buy that comic? And then you see the back and he's holding a tank to throw at some creatures. Why wouldn't you buy it? There's no reason not to. And then when you flip it open, you get this. So again, this is a company I know absolutely nothing about. I don't know these characters. It'll be something to kind of dig into. Look at this. Oh my God. Forget about it. This is the shit that gives you a special kind of joy when you come across this kind of stuff, or it does for me anyway. Yeah, this one is 1986. Was this one as well? I think I said 86 for both. Yeah, so 1986 for those 2 there. So RAK Graphics. Another one. Just Cosmos. Giver, man. Look at this dude. He's confident. He's sure of himself. He's got a babe. She's got most of her clothes on. Most of them off. He's got a gun. They're on some alien planet. He's kicking ass. He's kicking everybody's ass. This is Micmac Comics that have popped up a couple of times. Not this specific one, but I've seen the company name before. And yes, as you would expect, Look at this. It's Cosmos. Rick James in space. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, 100%. That's hilarious. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. Nothing to say about that. That's some beautiful work. What year do we have here? Did I say? Did I even look? Yeah. Oh, hey, 1986. Cosmos is published by Micmac Comics. Oh, yeah, North Bay, Ontario. There you go. So a Canadian. Script Mark Gursky and Michael Gauthier. Art by Darren J. Matassa. So that's beauty. I mean, I'm just going to show you this. We're not even going to talk about it. I have the first, I think I have all 5 of the first, I think I have the first 5, you know, Space Beaver. This is issue number 6. Again, gotta have it. It's just one of those that I've got to have. The other, I think I've read 2 of them at this point. They were a lot of fun. Completely just ridiculous, but a lot of fun. So these don't pop up that much either. And there you go. You get a look at the team on the back there, with a turtle that looks incredibly like that turtle from Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew, name of which escapes me at this moment. So there you go, Space Beaver. And there's a look at the inside. Hey, who wants to bet that this says 1986 in the middle? Oh, 1987. My heart skipped a beat when I saw this title, but this is the second book. I've still been looking for this From the Darkness, that I only have 2 of the 4 issues. There was a second series of From the Darkness, and it's called Blood Vows. So I found book 3 of 3, but man, I nearly shit myself when I saw that at the top. Still, I'm sure it'll be great, but I'm really no relation to Time Beaver. Absolutely not. I'm still dying to get those other 2 of From the Darkness, because the issue that I read was incredible. Loved it. So I'm curious how this second miniseries pans out. Oh yeah, we can get some pinups in the back, fellas. There you go. A little bit of boobage, and then another pin up there. It's great. Honestly, John, if you see this From the Darkness, that first series, give it a shot. That first issue was an absolute blast. It just knocks it out of the park right from the get-go, right from issue 1. 1993. 1993 here for this one. Monster Comics being an offshoot of Fantagraphics, doing some stuff. I just actually placed an order at my comic shop, and I think I got the first 3 issues or the first 2 issues, because it's something that doesn't pop up. The first one has a Dave Stevens cover. So today, issue 5 of King Kong by Dandy Don Simpson popped up in the bins. So I grabbed that sucker, and it's beautiful inside. It's really great. 1991 on this one, November 1991. But there's, I mean, look at that lettering, the Wrath of Kong. Everything about that image is just amazing. Don Simpson has a hell of a style. Really beautiful stuff. Was it? Nah, I don't remember. I want to say Border Worlds was that one that he did. But anyway. No, my comic shop is postage not reasonable whatsoever. But I sold my graded book. I sold Strange Tales 169. I transferred most of that money into our bank account, and then I left myself some extra. So because there's things on my wish list on my comic shop that I've had there for so long. I figured I'd just do an order. I got quite a stack of books, but I think the shipping turned out to be like $30, 25 or $30. But like I said, because I don't do it that often, and it sort of felt like free money anyway because of the eBay sales, I figured what the hell, I'd treat myself and order a couple of things, which I'll show when they get here. They probably won't get here for another week or two, I imagine, just because postage is so slow. Look at that, though. That's gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to digging into that when those other issues come. I searched and searched in the bins. There was a lot of Cerebus in his bins. I feel like it's one I need to go back and look even harder for, because I'm hoping to find more of this. So when I think of Cerebus, I haven't read anything, and one of the titles, or one of the stories that Gore Vidal is always raving about, is this Jaka's story. So I found a few of those issues. So what do I got? 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 of them. So Jaka's story number 3, and this is the first Cerebus I've ever owned, and it'll be the first Cerebus that I've read, and I'm kind of excited, to be honest, especially because I'm right into that mindset of 80s indie, and this completely falls in that wheelhouse. And again, the bonus of being Canadian. But I mean, one of the things we were talking about today on Damien's channel is this kind of group of YouTubers. You end up taking people's advice if they tell you to steer away from a book. Generally, depends on the person. I sometimes take their advice, and when people steer me towards a specific title, I really take that advice. And this is something that's come from a number of people. Rasa was talking about it too. So that's number 3 there. I bet they are. Well, and that's the thing. I'm noticing a ton of Cerebus pop up in town here too, like boatloads of it. Tons of just single issues. And like I said, I saw a whole shitload of them sprinkled out through a bunch of the boxes. So it feels like I've really got to go back and do sorry, just look over this comment here. It feels like I have to go back and really do a dig to find the rest of these, because I'm sure he has them. So this is issue number 4, or sorry, Jaka's story part 4. Part 5. And these covers are gorgeous as well too. Part 6. Everything about this book looks beautiful. So I'm kind of excited. Part 8. Kind of excited to dig into this again, because the entire thing will be brand new to me. Cerebus himself, and then this story, and then part 9. I don't know how many parts there were to this one. I haven't looked that deeply. I love those elongated panels too, though. Nice stuff. Yeah, and this is 1989 for this one. Note from the president. Oh, geez. Note from the president. Hey, guess who just broke up with his girlfriend? So was that about that time? So there you go. And kind of last but not least, a couple of albums and comic albums and some magazines. So we were talking on the stream today about this book. Again, go to Damien's video. Damien has it on his channel, the chat that we had today. I briefly talked about Elric. So this is something that's just come out recently. I pre-ordered it last year from Book Depository, and it came this past week. Well worth it. The other thing that they ended up talking about later in the video is paper quality. And this one has a really interesting interior paper. It's not quite newsprint, but it has this nice off-white quality to it that makes it feel a little closer to newsprint. And it has a really nice texture and feel to it. Kind of adds something to the overall quality of this book. And I think I'd have to compare it to the other Drie books. I feel like it's different interior paper than those other ones. But this is fantastic. So Elric was created as kind of an Answer-Yak Drie for half of the story there, Scott. And someone named Jim Cawthorn. Actually, I'll show it because I didn't see you in the chat there today, Scott. So Jim Cawthorne doing the first story. So apparently both of them were kind of the first to do Elric stories in their respective countries. So Jim Cawthorne was the first artist to depict Elric in an Anglophone magazine, which was Science Fantasy from 1961. And Philip Drouillet was the first to depict him in a Francophone magazine, Moi aussi, 1966. And then these individual stories come from so 1973 and 1976. So 1973 was the Drouillet story, and then Hawthorne's was from 1976. They reprint the covers, the front and the back cover for Hawthorne's story as well. And then at the back, they also, I'll show you that in a second. The back, they have a little bit of history about all of the artists involved with Elric through the years. And it's incredible. It's a really, the day it came, I sat down and I read it that afternoon. And it's amazing. This first story was a little difficult to follow just because it was character name, where they're from, going to meet another character to go visit some other land, etc., etc. So all of these kind of names, Dimly, Jaggreen, looking for Stormbringer, the Theocrat heard and feared, silence Melnibone, kill him, etc. So it's just this kind of, the way it was laid out was a little difficult at times, but again, you get a panel like this here. That's incredible to me. It's really, really nice. But this guy puts ink on paper, though. And one of the things that's said right at the beginning is that Cawthorne, sorry, I want to call him Hawthorne all the time. Cawthorne's art, if you didn't kind of take it away from him at some point, he would sometimes over-render things. He would just go nuts with things and kind of fill up the page with more and more black. So that was one of the tricks to try to get the art away from him at some point, or put him on a very strict deadline so he would have to walk away from it. So it's a really, the other thing that's good about pairing the stories this way is you get these really dense pages in the first story, and then when you go to Drouillet's stuff, there's a lot more white on the page. So it's a really nice contrast. There's still a boatload of detail in there, but dude, it's incredible. These collections that Titan Comics has been doing of Drouillet stuff, very, very well worth picking up. So anyway, in that same boat, I've never been a fan of Conan, but I picked up my first couple of Conan magazines. I'm reading the Sumerian stuff, and then I figured I'd give a couple of these issues a shot as well, because there is some Val Mernick stuff in these stories. Val Merrick, sorry. In this one, there's a story called The Chain, and I'm a big fan of Val's art. I was watching I was watching an interview with him on James Hudnall's old channel. Well, it still exists. And in part of that video, he does talk about The Young Master and how much he loved doing that book. And then I stumbled across some ETA Nick videos, and he was talking about Merrick as well too. He had a couple of he kind of spotlighted a Conan book, and he spotlighted a couple of other things, his work from some other horror and sci-fi magazines. So I kind of took note of one of them specifically, which I'll show you in a second. But this is just another one. So I kind of did a hunt to see if I could find anything else. I haven't read this issue yet, but I'm looking forward to it because his art is just stunning. So I got that issue. Issue number 115. These two magazines came from a place in town, Cover to Cover, which has finally opened its doors again at its new location. Oh, interesting, Damien. One of his original goals was to draw Conan. Yeah, I don't know if they talked about it. I don't remember how much they talked about it in that interview. So this is the issue that ETA Nick showed off really closely. He went page by page. What do we got here? Issue number 74. And this one it's like most of the book is Val Merrick. Chris Claremont and Val Merrick, Lady of the Silver Snows. And it's a good, it goes from page 5 all the way to page 43. So, like, there we go, man. Hopefully that's showing up for you. That's amazing. I'm also a little taken aback, not taken aback, I guess. When you think of some of these characters, it's hard not to think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. So one of the things that stands out to me is how he looks like an indigenous man, Conan. He doesn't look like a white man at all. He has a lot of kind of indigenous roots to his look, you know. So, but again, I know nothing about this character. Like I said, some of these books, this kind of type of fantasy and that sort of thing didn't ever really appeal to me that much. It's not something that I kind of flock to. But again, when it's this art, just like the Elric stuff I was talking about this afternoon, Elric isn't a character I ever really would have gone towards, but throw a guy like Druyer on it and you're going to get my attention. So with Conan, same thing. I'm really into Merrick's art. That's going to get my attention on this. But this looks like a gorgeous, gorgeous story. Yeah, really, really stunning. It really helps to read Conan before you get into Schwartz. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, some Conan to the collection, which I never would have thought that would happen. The other thing I love about this too is, again, like the back ads, this place, Comics in Comics, which is in Berkeley, California, and then an ad for AXA as well, which is a British character, and then had some Elric, some Eclipse, I think an Eclipse miniseries as well too. Let's see. I realize I haven't been watching the comments too closely. One thing I would recommend, if you can, read the original Robert E. Howard stories too. The unedited versions are available. A nice series of illustrated, affordable paperbacks from Del Rey. Excellent. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. Dark Horse reprints of Savage Sword of Conan were done in full magazine size. Oh, hey, interesting. In the color Marvel Comics, they used to give Conan a slightly reddish hue. Interesting. Yeah. I bet there is. Yeah, Bud Plant was all over the place at this time for sure. Okay, so that's that. And then one of the other books that Dan had for me, or one of the other magazines, Eerie, he's got a complete collection of Eerie and Creepy, I think he said. So he doesn't often have extras. This one has a Corbin story in it. It's a Merrick cover as well too. So that's the two. This hits two spots for me. So Val doing the cover, which is a beautiful one, and then Corbin doing an interior. So let's look at the Corbin because I haven't flipped through it. Oh, Within You, Without You. Oh man, who was talking about dinosaur art recently? Somebody was talking about dinosaur art. Look at that. That's beautiful. There's some gorgeous Corbin. Oh, dude. Pardon me. Amazing. Look at this here. That's a great panel. What are you talking about? Holy shit, man. Fucking Corbin, man. Guy was a beast. Yeah, I only have, this is only my, I only have, I think at this point, I think I only have 3 Eerie magazines, and I don't know how many creepy I've had. I maybe have 24, but not very much at all. And again, they do pop up. It's not like they're, you know, they're really hard to find. It's just that when I find them, it's one of those things that the price usually turns me off. Not because they're, you know, tens and $20 and $30 or anything, but there's usually, they're just out of that price range where I usually have a stack of other things in my hand that I really, really want. Not that I have anything against these, but you know, I think that's going to trade. That's going to change a little bit for me if I can hunt down some more of these. But this looks like a beautiful story. Yeah, fucking Corbin. Anyway. Oh man. And then they've got a bunch of other fucking artists in here. But there you go. So it's mostly Corbin. It looks like about half the book is Corbin. Oh, and then there's some guy, Neil Adams, and, you know, there's some writer called Bruce Jones or something. But yeah, whatever. So there you go. That's Eerie. And then to kind of end it off, again, these last 2 were from upstairs at Red River Books. I thought I'd bought all the Valerian that he had, but there was one more buried in the shelves. They have kind of reorganized upstairs there a little bit, so they've kind of put all the European stuff together as opposed to spread out on an entire floor. So I grabbed myself another Valerian book, World Without Stars. Making it what now? I've probably got about 4. I think this is the 4th Valerian book that I've got. So that'll be great. I'm looking forward to digging into that one. Even though the first one that I read didn't blow my socks off, it was still really enjoyable. And this art is beautiful in here too. So looking forward to that. And then finally, I was talking about it briefly because Paulo was in the chat. And gee, now that you're here, maybe you can fill in some information as well too. So this is Once Upon a Time in the Future by a guy whose name Zeliko Pahek, who apparently Paulo said that he looked up and said that he at one time was an assistant of Herman, and I think did some work in the Jeremiah series, and I haven't had a chance to sit down yet to flip through my Jeremiah books that I have to see if his name pops up. But again, it's just one of those books. I see the cover, I know what I'm getting, do a quick flip through, and it just goes, you know, it just comes home with me. I don't really hesitate on stuff like this. From a company called Platinum that I haven't seen here before. It's, what was it? SAF and Malibu Graphics. So Platinum Editions is a trademark of SAF BV and Malibu Graphics Publishing Group. So yeah, shit, I thought maybe you would there, G. It just feels like something you and Paulo would have been able to fill in some gaps. That's okay. I'll look up some stuff myself. So, but it looks fantastic. Just before the stream today, I read kind of the first couple of pages, and there was some punishment of robots going on. We're in the year 2683, and they're punishing robots who are kind of, as they say, insulting human dignity is how they put it to the robots, as he kind of hits them with a stick and, you're not going to gain more human traits here, robot. We're in charge, that sort of thing. So I'm curious what this is going to be like. But it looks great. Looks really, really great. And again, like, this album format is probably my most favorite way to read comics, this way and the Elric. So they're just a little bit bigger than magazine size. So same width, but just a little bit taller. But that format and then these hardcover album formats are such an amazing way to read books. That's it, my friends. That's it. That's all. I have a small pile of stuff for Rasa. So I found issue number 19 of Ms. Tree for her as well too. Yeah, and just flipping through this again reminds me how much I loved this series, and it may be something that I'll revisit again. I've got a graphic novel collection of like volume 1, so I think I might pay it a visit again, because this was just so much fun, such a fun series to read. There you go. What do we got here? Platinum also published Sergio Aragone's Buzz and Bell in the US. Oh, nice. Thank you, Scott. Platinum is nothing that I've heard of. Drives me nuts that I have all the Valerian hardcovers except Volume 6, which you cannot find now for blood or money. Really, hey? So do the hardcovers, how many of the albums do they collect in one of the hardcovers? You did mention Zeno's art several weeks ago. He drew the Dinosaur Attack cards. Yes, I remember those Dinosaur Attack. I wonder if he also do the Dinosaur Attacks one shot from, I don't know, was it Eclipse? Was it Dark Horse? Was it, I don't remember who put that one shot out. Anyway, that's about it, fellas. Thanks very much for hanging out. Thanks for talking in the chat. Scott DaCosta, Mind the Comics, Sleepy Reader. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. No, that looks like about it. I'm glad that you didn't have to use your wrench to kind of lay down the law there, Damien. Thanks very much, everybody. And next weekend, it'll be either on my channel or Ross's channel for the chat. But make sure that you sub all of us, and just kind of, if you want to hang out and have a chat. Okay, 3 or 4 per hardcover. There are 7 total. Okay, good to know. I'll keep my eyes out for that stuff, for the Valerian stuff. Right on, everybody. Okay, we'll talk to you.